So now let's go for the next part, which is called animator. If you open animator option, you will see this window. So in this window, I'm going to talk about the animator part, which is really a kind of valuable option and tool for you. You know, in animator, you can actually use the program of timing, for example, timeliner, or for example, scripter, and also clashes on everywhere that you think. You can use it a lot as a kind of actually very professional tool and option for your projects. So let me close the extra windows here, and after that let me go into Revit. So let me see here. Actually, I created a folder in the name of animator here, animation, and I have created some shapes and pictures like these things that you can see. And also we have these kinds of shapes and pictures in Revit. Of course, you can import every picture that you want from every software because you're working exactly in Navisworks. For example, like 3D Max by, for example, export of FBX, for example, ODJ, or other formats that you can actually import them into Navisworks. So let me at first export the model. Let me hide them at first. So let me save it actually at first and then export by NWC. Actually in the folder of animations. So like this, and then let me save it. So we will wait till the exporting is done, and then you see the file here. So after exporting, I will go into Navisworks, and by the option of open, I will open the first file. And actually, this is it. Like this. So animation has a lot of tools into Navisworks that I'm going to talk about them one after one actually. So at first, let me just place them in a right place. We don't have work to topography. Here we have structural columns. So let me have select save it, and then let me rename it here. For example, 1 str columns, just as a kind of example. So then let me hide it and then choose the beams actually here. Level 1 and structural framing here. And then let me save it. Let me just have a name for it. For example, 2 str and beams. So let me hide it, and then after that let me select the floors, and then here into save selection I will write 3 str floor, and then let me hide it. Let me select these columns, I mean this is story, and then it is structural columns for level 2. And then I will save it, and I will rename it into, for example, 4 str columns. Like this. So then let me hide it and choose the beams actually here. Five str beams. Okay. Then I will hide it, and after that the floor for this level. 6 str and floor, then hide it. Let me hide it. Then I want to go for the columns. If I can select on one of them, just okay. So let me save it, and then str. Of course, it is 7 str columns. Okay. And then let me hide it, and here we have the framings. 8 str and beams. Then again let me hide it, and then the floor, ceiling I mean. After that 9 str and floor. And then I will hide it. You know, creating these selections can be really helpful for you in future if you want to choose them one after one separately and just work and do every changes that you want on them. So let me choose the first story here. And after, let me choose the walls in this story. So here, level number 1 and walls. And let me save it actually, and then for a name I can type, for example, 10 ARC walls. So let me hide it, and here for level 1, the windows, let me save it, and the name is 11 ARC windows. So after that, as usual, I will hide it, and then here doors, I will select them. So 12 ARC doors, and then we will go for the next step. So actually I created all of them here, just we have only this subject here. So let me select it, and then because of course I forgot to create it for the first step, and then for example save it and we name it 0 str and for example floors. So let's see, I can drag it into the highest level here. Yes, I can do it. So like this, I did whatever I want, or let me just save it here at first. So by this way I created some search sets here that I can, for example, and save sets of course here to use them in our work and our projects. Actually like this. So now let me save them at first. And then by appending, I will go into NWC and I import this tower crane, yes? So I imported this tower crane here. Of course it is a little big. And the size, you can just have a kind of scale for it based on your project. So let me come here. Okay, here. You know, the tower crane has two parts. One of them is about the body, and the next one is actually about the topest level here. So actually I will separate them from each other, because this action will really help us in animation. Yes, I will talk about it in the next part or episode. So to get this goal, let me open the save selection window here. Let me just put them next to each other here. Like this actually, and then let me create a folder in the name of models. And then I will drag everything and every items that I have here into the folder of models actually. Like this. And actually after that I will create a folder in the name of tower. Actually tower crane. So after that I will click on this part and then create a save it just in the name of top, like this for example. And then after that let me choose these parts. Actually let me check it, yes, okay. And then I will name the three parts, for example, in the name of base. So actually this part is base and this part is top actually. So the reason I just separated these two items from each other, because I wanted to, for example, change the topest level from the down one, and we could work with it easier. So in this folder we have all of them. So I will go in the view of top here that I can see it better. Like this. So I can actually move, I can change the place to every point that we need in our project. For example, here. Like this. So let me save the model up to here, and then in append I will choose the format of RVD, RFA, and RT. And then I will import those shapes or families that, for example, I need in my work and project. As an example, actually, for example, I need this one. So actually, it is loading the things and shapes here. You know, if you just export it by Revit into here and import it from Revit, it will be really easier and it takes less time than now. So I suggest you to export it by Revit into here. And then you see it's actually like this. and like this we will do it. So actually I will create a folder here in the name of loader. So let me correct it at first. And then after it, I will copy that. So let me choose it and then save it in the name of loader here, and then I'll drag it into this folder. And actually the other subjects and items that we have in our work, and we can actually load them into our model and project. So just for now, just consider these two items here. Now we want to get familiar with the animation sections and parts for everything that we import into here. So let me open the window animator here and pin it. First we have a window of sets here that we have for save selections. Yes. Let me actually select loader and then rotate it here. So actually I pinned it. Let me just reset it just here, because actually I made it stable. It is kind of, for example, nice ability for the sets here. So let me just rotate it very nicely and easily here. So actually let me choose it, and then I will paste it, Control-C and paste it, because I don't want to write it again. So after that, I will go on this icon, or even if you have a right click in this window, you will see add scene. This is the name of this icon. By this action, you can create some folders, because you might have some different I don't know, things that you don't get confused while working. As an example, the category of loader here. So here I can have actually a kind of right click on it, or even by that icon you can add scene, for example. So the name, as you can see, that is loader. So I will select loader, and then here I will click on loader. So as you can see in this window, we will have different parts and sections. Yes, let me have a short explanation about them actually. So the first part that you can see here is called animator tree. Actually, you know the meaning of that. You can just, for example, have every category and every folder that you need. So here we have some tools that we call it animator toolbar. The tools like move, rotate, scale, transparency, color, and quality. Actually, these tools are different with the tools that you have in this toolbar actually. I mean in working actually. And then in this part you can see the animator timeliner actually, that you can check, for example, what is happening, what will happen here. And actually this part down here, of course, if you click on one of these tools, they will be activated. So at first let me inactivate them, that you can check and see better. So here we have some tools that if I create a keyframe here, then actually it will start to work. So actually I selected on this one, and this is in selection mode, and let me have a right click on it actually. And here let me go on add animator file selection. So you see some tools here. If I choose move here, you see some lists here that we call them, and the name is animator manual area. And in rotate you will see the tools related to rotate, or in scale you will see the scale tools, or for example the numbers that you can set for them, or for transparency, for example. And even color, that actually this is related to color, that you can have RGB. And also actually for transparency you can select a nice transparency for your work and project by this tool. Actually it can be different from 0 till 100%, like this. So you can have different keyframes here. So let me click on move here. By this way I created a kind of folder here. Actually you don't need to create a folder. Creating folder makes you work better, and you have more discipline actually in your work. So after that, let me actually here click on capture keyframe. So a keyframe is created here you can see. So as an example, let me set a number for it. let's see. Okay. For example, let me set it on 10 and then it will come here. And then for example, I move this shape from here till here and then click on keyframe. So as you can see, we created a kind of animation here in this timing. And then by this action, actually, let me just disable it. And then as you can see, if I play it, it will start to move. Actually, like this that you can see now. Okay. So let me just return to the first. Actually, you can copy the keyframes that you create. Okay. And then in similar parts, you can paste it like this, for example. Actually, also you can use some other tools to like move, for example. And then when you click on move icon, you can come here, or even you can right click by, for example, edit keyframe. And in this window, for example, as you can see, we have some parts and translate, which means move in Z. For example, I type 20 like this. So as you can see, it is not on the ground. It went up and high for 20 meters. As an example, we want in our project that the subject that we've imported here is not on the ground, and after playing it starts to move on the ground. You can do by this action. It's a kind of, for example, option to you. So the next option, I can again come on the first keyframe here. I have a right click and I will go again and edit keyframe and part of transparency. For example, also I can use that place too. For example, I will set it on 100% for transparency. So after it, I will copy that again. And actually I can paste it near to this. Let me play it. You see? It won't show you the mood actually that it is coming on the ground from the sky. It won't show it to you, yes? And it is a little nicer. So let me delete this that you can, maybe it is appeared a little better to you and you can see it nicer. Let me make a distance a little between them. So let me just bring it into here. We want to check that how much transparency is working. So as you can see, it suddenly happened. So let me come here and have a right click and paste it into here. So let me have a double click on it, and in this window, let me just set it on 50%. So it means from 100 till 50 and from 50 till 100. I think it will show it better. So let me play it, and as you can see, this is the result. So let me go in the first frame again and let me just disable transparency from here. And then let me delete these two ones. I just wanted you to see how we can use them actually in our work. So let me have a double click here, and it doesn't have transparency actually. Okay, I have a kind of move here. I kind of move it actually. So let me set it on 0 and this is the result. So actually we talked about this until here. Let me click on this and let me have a kind of rotation again on it like this. Let me just say a little more forward and then capture it. And then actually by move option I will bring it into here. And then by rotation I will have a little more rotation here. So let me bring it again into here, and then after it let me capture it. And I will move it from here until here. So let me inactivate it and then cancel it. Then let's go back. So let me play it to see it is working or not. So if it doesn't work, we have to just correct it. By these tools you can create animation. So as you can see, it doesn't work. Let's see what the reason is exactly. So let me cancel it and then select it. Then let me just click on rotation option here. So let's come here. I think I didn't capture it actually. Now we have to capture it, of course, to set it. Then as yes, you can see here. So actually let me delete this one. and copy this one, and let me go a little more forward, and then actually let me paste it here like this. And then I have a right click and just paste it here. Let me just move it a little more forward by moving option here like this, and by rotation let me rotate it a little more, so that let me have right click and then delete it. So actually let me check it. Oh, sorry, let me delete it. I forget to capture it. You have to capture it at first. So I did it till here. Let me just copy that and move it, of course, forward, and then paste it here. Let me just click on this and click on capture. So by moving option, let me just move it a little here, and then by rotation I will rotate it like this. So up to here it is getting done up to here, and then so let me bring it into here and then capture it. Let me have a little more rotation here, and for example let me click on move, and the moving, for example, it comes till here. So let me turn it off and then cancel it. After it, let me click on OK, play. So actually, because you had rotated that before, it is exactly making a kind of rotation from the first. Let me have right click here, and it is exactly on orthography. So as you can see, the rotation here didn't work. So let me cancel it and then delete this part. Up to here this is okay. I mean, up to here it has done the work nice. So let me click on move, and of course rotate. So let me actually bring it till here and click on a keyframe. Let me create a keyframe, and then I will bring it from here till here. I want to just see it is working or not. So yes, this is working, as you can see, like this. So here let me rotate it, and then of course don't forget to capture it. So yes, it is working. So actually let me play it again. Actually we are looking at that from above to check it better, like this. So actually, because here the length of framing is a little short, it is moving a little faster. So actually let me have a little explanation about this animation. When an animation in Navisworks, when you create an animation in Navisworks, it doesn't mean that you have to have a high quality, like, I don't know, for example, some other softwares such as Lumion, 3D Max, I don't know, and other softwares. They are not, it is not as much as them. You're actually doing a kind of simulation here. Just you want to show a kind of track loader which is working, for example, and moving into here to show the clients better. You actually are not following the quality for details. This software actually hasn't been created for these goals. You actually have some subjects and objects by lower sizes that you can just have simulation, simulating the things that you need. So we don't want, for example, the wheels, I don't know, start to round, or I don't know, for example, it has a kind of steering wheel here. We are not following these things. I don't mean actually we cannot do it here. I can just select on these wheels and all the time they are rounding here, or rotating, for example. So actually I think this is a waste of time, and we are just following the realities here.